Welcome to your July 28th Power Hour Monday meeting with Katelyn, Carly, and Clare Fulton. How was the week, everybody? We're right at the end of July. How's it been? How are open houses?
We did one on Saturday.
Saturday in Whitby.
Second week
Of the listing.
We had 8 groups.
8 groups through.
That's pretty good.
Were they confused about pricing or why you haven't changed the price yet?
Is it still $9.49?
I actually feel like the parents of some of the offers, 2 of the offers came through.
to
They were kind of secretive, and then like they didn't look like they were trying to get a house, and like
So they're trying to see what the activity is like. Maybe they should come back
then
for
I tried to
another
convince them to
offer.
move to a bungalow near us,
Yes. Okay.
and they seem receptive to it.
Okay. And you just changed the price today, though.
There's a lot of meetings happening right now.
We all have a little.
Julian had an open house too, right? And you had a decent amount. I know you didn't think it was a decent amount, but that's a decent amount.
That was Scarborough, right?
4 or 5 groups each day.
Yeah.
I looked at every single house in the area, and everything else was just like teared down. Like,
Yeah.
relative price range.
How many showings have you had before the open house?
I would say like 6 or
Okay. So a couple of days.
You're not listed low. Are you listed low?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
offers this Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Julian did what we tell you guys to do is go look at all of the houses in the area when you have your listing too. So that was good. Now you have like some strong skills when you go like to compete with them or when you're talking about offers.
Did you have one person running the open house or 2 people then?
2.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of helpful for a big house like that too. Yeah. That's good. And you
Put in the open house?
4 or 5 groups each day.
each day.
4 or 5?
4 or
Not
5
bad.
groups of people, right? So why not?
In the open house.
What if more than one person's in the house?
Chit chat when you don't have any.
More opportunity for you to connect with people, right? I think it's a good idea. And some
think
people
it's
are a little bit introverted too, so why not?
20 people.
And I think for safety as well, why not?
You
Yeah.
also can't predict the activity.
Yeah, you never know, right? You manifested a busy open house and you got one, so it's good.
And are you expecting on some offers?
I think we're expecting at least one.
Yeah, that would be good. At least one. I know of another open house in W08, Etobicoke area, had about 25 people through as well. First time listed as well. That's
There's Saturday 6 groups and Sunday 15 groups.
Okay. And you're listed low as well.
Double low,
15 on the Sunday, and that price is $699 or $599? $599.
600s.
That's pretty good.
So I think open houses are worth it. I think we should be doing open houses, right? Yeah. If you're too experienced and you have somebody junior do them, but I think people are coming, so why not? Otherwise, you should be previewing houses and going inside houses of some sort on the weekends. So that's good. Anyone write in online for open houses or no? I didn't see anything in WhatsApp either. How's general feeling? Are people running buyers and are they doing offers or are they just shopping around and torturing you and taking you all across the city? What's that? Yeah, are they torturing you or are they making offers? Offers, okay, so that's good.
Are they
They're doing something
making offers that are getting rejected? Is that why we're a little...
then. No, he's just trying.
You're smiling.
He's done well, so he doesn't
Or you're
wanna-
selling? You're actually selling them. Are you getting some good deals?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good then.
Yeah.
Because we're getting like some buyers still offering like way below and still thinking it's like gonna have some are accepting and some
Like the one in the
Too far.
Oxford office sold,
Yep.
3,000 square feet, 5-bedroom on Lightfoot,
Yep.
for $1,060,000.
Wow.
It's in good condition.
And we're seeing that happen more E10 area.
9.
Yeah.
And I've listed a street on the same street 1.2.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, clients, I haven't processed yet. It's coming up this week.
Yeah.
But,
So that might affect that one.
Yeah. We saw bungalows in that area selling for $860. Like you can get stuff for under $1 million right now.
Yeah.
You get something nice for just
I heard
over.
of a Scarborough bungalow last week for $680 or something like that
That
in
was
the
Susan.
Brimley area. Was
Yeah.
it you, Susan?
Yeah.
Was it $680? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
For
That's
Scarborough
good.
bungalow. Great. That's a great
This is
price.
a good thing. This is great.
Yeah.
I know Sanic and I were arguing because we had a buyer that wanted to go 150, I think, under asking. And you were saying, just wait, let them get beat up, let them wait. I'm like, I'm a button pusher. I'm like, no, just beat them up now. They're going to say no, so you might as well get it over with. And
Yeah.
we ended up waiting.
25% below us.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it worked. Right. Our guy didn't even respond.
You didn't respond then.
We sent it, didn't even acknowledge it, didn't register it, didn't even respond.
We're crying.
So Sanic was right. But it's good to now we know and we can move on. He can come crawling back to us after.
I don't think so.
Well, he's still on the market, so first offer is the best offer. No, we're seeing it still
We
happen.
did prove it not this week. but
Yeah.
Let's not
Yeah,
get excited.
No, that's not done yet. So we'll have to share that story
Yeah.
after. No, that's true.
All right.
You want to hop into stats, or what did Ryan Sorhant? What was he talking about?
I didn't see anything today.
No, we didn't see anything exciting today.
Didn't love him.
So usually the last week in July, the first week in August are the most vacationed weeks of the summer. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to take time off, take it off this week and next week. But after that, back to work, right?
Oof.
Whoa.
Claire giving permission for vacation. Whoa.
If you're not on vacation, get back to work.
Get back to work and go look at houses.
You should be preparing for the fall market.
It's interesting that people take time off during the summer because I'm inclined to go in the winter. Like I don't mind
When
when
it's
summer's
cool.
here, but I guess when the kids are off, that's the early chance to,
Yeah.
to not take them out of school, right? So
Yeah. We don't like to travel in the summer because we want to enjoy
Yeah.
the sun we finally get.
We're kind of blessed to be in Ontario, though. Like we've done Prince Edward County, Niagara. Like we have some nice spots here in Ontario, just driving distance, right? You don't
Yeah.
need to go too
Even
far.
just Canada.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think Canadian travel. I wonder.
Houston's going to Alberta.
Yeah, I'm hearing more people travel to Calgary. They're sticking to Canada. Why not? Our exchange rate's pretty brutal right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, Alex is out west too. So
Yeah.
Claire just gave you all permission to go traveling. So that's great.
No, just
Does that include us?
this
Just this week.
Just this week. Perfect. Yeah, that's true.
No, you have.
We're all looking to you for permission. That's funny. No, but I think people are still doing something. They're still not making decisions, but they're out and about. I know they're looking for sure.
So I feel that things have picked up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm looking over here, Nelson here. So don't read. If you want to get depressed, read the newspapers. Holy smokes, man! It's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got more stuff here that talks about all the things that are
Yeah,
going bad. But
it's
then
true.
I'm looking at our own numbers here, and I'm thinking that things are actually picking up just
I
a little
know.
bit. I've got
It's
the
true.
numbers here to show it here, but I just feel that there seems to be something going on.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's telling me here that buyers are offering low prices for houses. Are they offering low prices for houses, or are the sellers asking high prices for the houses?
Sellers asking high.
All right, and
Yep.
the sellers are asking high prices because what they paid for it, or just because that's their neighbor sold their house for that some years ago, or
Yeah.
all-
I'm reading
all
that
the above?
sellers are making their prices based on their emotions, and buyers are looking at it with facts. But it's the sellers now that are pricing their houses with emotions because of their family grew up in here, or this, or they like their whatever, and they're highly optimistic.
So I'll just tell you, there's big opportunity. July 30th, 31st, so 31 days this year. 30
Yeah.
days and 31.
Yeah.
When it's 33rd on Thursday.
31st.
Is
It's Friday.
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday.
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know on Thursday, I think today we've got around 31,800 active listings. That's going to drop. So at the end of the month it'll drop. So if those people that know what I'm talking about here will see there's opportunities there. So if you're going to go on vacation, as I said, go on vacation. If you're not, then there's lots of things to do. All right, we're trying to promote everybody even to think about farming areas. Good time to do your research on that. I challenge you to look at any successful agent out there. That just think of one or two that are out there and ask me. And I want to know if they have a particular geographic farm, and I bet they do. So it's something to think about there, right? So if the summer market, it's the time to plan for the fall.
Yeah.
Right,
It's,
so-
it's very close. Like we're going to be in August
Yeah.
and fall's right there.
So again, you're on vacation, that's super. If you're not, then there's lots of things to do. All right.
Yeah, you're right.
So let's get going there. A couple things I noticed. I want to get into Tales from the Street first, or numbers?
Yeah, just
We had a wild week last week, I feel.
Tales from the Street. Okay,
A lot
so
of
I'm just
weird
curious.
things.
I'm just going to make a comment here. No, it's not any particular agent or anybody in particular, but it could be for everybody here. So we've been selling for some reason. I don't know why. We've got your offers. How do we put this? Okay, offer. When you sign offers, right? There's confirmation of acceptance. And does everybody know what the confirmation of acceptance is, right? When the last client that accepts the deal, so if it's irrevocable from the buyer, and the seller accepts that offer, then it's accepted by the seller. Vice versa, right? So, but you have to close the circle. So a lot of agents, for some reason, are not filling out. Not a lot of agents, some agents. And of course, the problems come up, and that's why I hear about it. But anyway, so make sure you fill out that paperwork that says confirmation of acceptance. That's all part of the agreement. The acknowledgement, right? Everybody signs acknowledgement before it's even acknowledged. And if you read it, it says very clearly, I hereby acknowledge I receive a copy of the signed, dated agreement. Well, how can you sign it before when it's not even signed by the seller or the buyer? Yeah, the seller.
Except that when it happens at the exact same time. But
Anyway, so it's all there.
yeah.
Some agents are really good. I'm happy for this. They're really good on the listings, and they're putting there that the rental, the HVAC is rental, and the furnace is rental. And it's on the listing. That's great. If you're a buyer's agent and you want that furnace and you want that air conditioner, guess what? You're going to put it as a fixture. You're not going to put it as a rental.
Yeah, you want the seller to pay for it.
You don't want a rental. You don't want a rental HVAC. So in your offer, you're going to put HVAC and air conditioners included. As a listing agent, if you're not paying attention, you just bought a $20,000 HVAC.
Yep.
In other words, more than once last week, I hate to say how many times, on our listing it's perfect, on the offer it's not.
Just because you put it on the listing doesn't mean that the buyer has to offer that.
And I'm thinking that an agent might be thinking, well, I've got it on the listing, so the agent probably put it in the offer, and I'll just skip that, and we'll do the price and the closing date. I won't read the offer or something. I don't know what it is, but it happened twice last week, so be careful. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing to know what the rental items are, but it's a good thing to make sure it's in the offer.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me there?
Yeah.
So we're doing such a good job, and then it comes to that. So we're not reading the offer. We had one that's interesting. Spelling mistake, which is fine. I mean, everyone makes spelling mistakes, but not after we've written the seller the balance of the commission check. In other words, there's more commission. Sorry, there's more deposit than there is commission. So the balance of the deposit goes to the seller. But if the spelling's wrong on the offer, it's going to be wrong on the checks too. Mm-hmm. So some agents get embarrassed when they give it to their client. The client goes to the bank, tries to cash it, and the bank won't cash it because there's a spelling error. Meanwhile, there's a spelling error from the offer from day one, and that spelling error went right through, so nobody read it. Right? So I'm not sure how do you teach that? It's just paying attention, right?
Yeah, you really have to be detail oriented. You've got to check.
Everybody's so nervous. They're so happy to get an offer. So
Yeah, so excited. Yeah,
the commission day. We're not doing the details. So
Yeah.
be careful with that. And I talked about last week about basement apartments. Same thing. If that basement apartment is not legal, you're not allowed to advertise it as a rental basement apartment. It's not legal. Now I'm looking at the old guys. They're looking at me. Of course, right? New guys, not so much. So I've seen stuff. Basement's not legal. Not our listings, thank God. Basement apartment rents for $1,000, and the seller doesn't warrant retrofit status. Wait a second. You can't do both.
Conflicting, yeah.
You can't advertise it, and with the rental, it's not legal. So be careful with that too. Your BRAs and information guides, we're suggesting you try to get those BRAs and information guides signed before you do the offer, even one day before. Because we get to arbitration, and the buyers say, well, no, I got all the paper all at once, I signed everything, I didn't know when it was signed. But if you have a separate date for the BRA, separate date for the information guide, then you got yourself covered. So just a little bit of...
I'll add one more. Paige and I were giggling at ourselves because we each had a listing that we were broker loading ourselves, and we usually get the girls to draft it for us, and then we like to be the ones to kind of look at it and like hit the submit button. But like before I hit that submit button, I get so nervous. I triple check that thing like 3 times. Like I'm just looking for mistakes. So you should do that too, because you might catch some mistakes. And then even when you post it, go check it on realtor.ca
Send it to your
to make
clients
sure that
too.
like the rooms and the things all match. Like I noticed something that on Realm I had in my client inclusions 2 fridges, 2 something, 2 whatever. But then realtor.ca converted it to remove the number, so it just said fridge, kitchen, and my client caught it. He's like, oh, it doesn't say that there's 2. So I don't know. So it's not a good exact translation from Realm to realtor.ca. So just triple check.
I think it's good to send to your
everything.
clients, even if
Yeah.
they see something wrong, just be like, you're going to see, if you see a spelling
know.
mistake, just getting another eye. It's not like you're a bad person and you sucked at your job. That's why you're doing this, is you're getting the draft approved and then
But go
put it
ahead and
up.
just like look at it, make sure it's the way that you want it to, because you can make edits anytime.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a nervous thing to hit that submit button.
And then the last thing, when you're buying new construction, pre-con, or new builder or something there, you should always put a clause in there, conditional upon lawyer's approval.
Yeah. Anytime you see builder form, even if it's on MLS, but they somehow you want to use their own builder forms, that's fine. But have a lawyer review everything. Don't expect that you would know how to look at everything on a 200-page offer.
Do you want to mention the family residence lease?
Oh.
That's an interesting
We
one.
had an interesting case last week
Let me
too.
just add to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 things. If you're doing a lease, all right, has anybody done this? You've leased it to a tenant, and the tenant shows up with their dog, and then the security won't let them have a key or get into the building because dogs are not allowed.
And it would be on the status certificate, but
But I'm talking about lease.
Yeah, how would you know,
So
yeah.
as a leasing agent, sometimes you don't get involved with the status certificate. You don't get involved with things. So you got to be very, very careful that are the pets restricted. What does pets restricted mean?
Usually
Maybe.
size.
Size,
Type.
right?
Number,
So,
amount.
so as a listing agent, you have the same responsibilities as a selling agent. So just be careful you're not doing stuff. So we got one. You want to explain it? Or?
Yeah, we got an interesting one. It's a condo in Toronto where they leased it to a tenant. And then the tenants went to go book the elevator, and property management asked if you were friends or family.
There's
and
two
they,
of them.
There's two guys. And they said, we're friends. And they said, oh, we don't allow friends to rent here. It has to be single families only. And they had already accepted the offer. They're supposed to move in on Friday. But now, obviously, property management has flagged it. So our agent, of course, is freaking out because she doesn't know that rule. It's very rare, but
I'm not
it's in a
sure.
few Toronto places. And we called property management to clarify the rule, and it is a
I
rule.
think it could be a human rights
It
thing,
seems
though,
like a human
so-
rights issue for sure.
There's a couple of them around.
Yeah, this one was on, oh gosh, what street was this?
Church.
I think it was 826 Church Street is one of them. So just to flag it in your brains, but that's a tough one, I think. Apparently the owners were given an email to let them know.
Messy square.
Same
Yeah,
thing in
so like there is
Massachusetts.
some that do that, and you wouldn't really know unless the owners told you.
Family, then it would have been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess because it's two men, maybe that they asked, but I guess they could say they're a couple or something. They might have to change. I don't know if they could change the story now, but
I would.
So here's the problem we have here. Our agent didn't know because
How would she
how
know?
would they know?
She wouldn't
but,
know.
But the seller knew because they're or should have known because they're sending them all the notices.
they even said they sent an email. Yeah, in January.
So the seller's not reading either.
So I do find often that sellers or clients will try to blame the agents, like, well, you should have known, but they have accountability for their own property. Don't let people bully you into thinking that you should have known every single fact about that property. It's their property. You're here to facilitate a deal for them. Don't let them
Yeah.
beat you up because
And
you
obviously
left it dirty or the tenant did
Yeah.
this. None of this is your fault. You
And
know?
the tenant's agent obviously doesn't know, so it was kind of just oops on all ends, but very interesting rule if you're listing condos to look into.
Pretend like a gay.
Yes, exactly.
Like cousins,
Family.
the couple, but now that
Same thing.
but now that property management knows they're friends, I don't know if they can,
They're
like,
family, yeah.
That's right.
exactly.
That's what I did at one point.
The only problem is when I called property management to ask about this rule, he said, is it unit this? And I was like, no. No. So like, they're aware now of the unit, so a lot of people called to ask about that. But very interesting. That's a scary
That's fair.
situation.
Yeah.
And just off topic here, I was reading something that some guy was complaining. I don't know if it was blog I was reading, whatever it was. I haven't got it here, but they're saying that the real estate agents should be liable for putting a tenant into their place
If it's a bad tenant.
if it's a bad tenant, and because the guy writing the article said I hired a guy to get me a tenant. And they got me a tenant, and they didn't vet the tenant. The tenant didn't, gave fake documents, fake this, and it's the agent's fault. So you got to be careful when you're doing your listing presentations, when you're representing the sellers. You got to make sure that the client understands that he's the one or they're the ones that are approving the tenant, not you.
Yeah.
We talk about last week.
Yeah. Well, then I read about it again. So
Yeah. You want to talk about it during your initial conversations, not when you have offers in front of you and you're trying to vet it, but as part of your process. This is what this process is going to look like. We're going to present you a tenant. They're going to give us documents, and you do have a little bit of responsibility to vet them with them, though.
Luckily, it happens once a year.
Yeah.
And we do hundreds of leases a month. So once a year, something goes bad, but then that once a year,
Yeah.
sticks in your head. Anyway, so we've got 31,812 active listings right now, 18,000 freehold, 13,000 condos. Vacant, freeholds are vacant, 27% of them are vacant, and condominiums, 42% of condominiums for sale right now are vacant. So that comes to what? Because of the small units likely, right? Sales over 101%, 18%, freeholds are 21% of all properties sold for over asking. Condominiums, 13% of condominiums sold for over asking. So we've got that strategy. Strategy condominiums works 13% of the time. For freeholds, it works 21% of the time. Is anybody still doing that? People are still underpricing, right?
I'm still seeing Durham around the million under, but we just did Scarborough. We just said we're not holding, and we had 3 showings and 2 offers so far. So I don't think buyers they don't want to compete. They don't want to date. They want to do it in their own time.
So I was talking to an agent. I don't know what the result was. I should ask what the result is. They're not here right now, but they're getting like 20 showings on a property and nobody's putting any offers.
Yeah,
on
we've
the
heard
price.
some things like that too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I thought, and they said, what do you got for offers? She said, well, offers 24 hours irrevocable. It says, change the irrevocable, just say offers anytime.
Anytime.
Or no. I changed it. I said, put an offer date.
Oh,
Oh, maybe just to give them a deadline.
a deadline?
Because that's the opposite.
There's no urgency. People look at the property, kicking the tires and moving on. Why not put an offer date?
I think even when you put a date, there's no urgency. They're like, oh, I'll just go to the next one.
Still
Thanks.
not?
Nice try.
Oh, it's
Like, they
better-
don't care.
It's better than doing nothing. Right?
It is,
Why don't you
yeah.
say like, we're gonna wait until such and such date to then take offers after a certain date?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's confusing.
Yeah.
Agents don't even know. Yeah, no one knows. That's why I think it's okay to be risky and too. Like we
Do
can try
something.
things, right? It's okay.
Let's do something different, right? Daily is 187 daily, so if I projected the 187 sales per day, if I project that for the end of July, will it be about 5,800 sales? So less than 6,000 sales for July, just to give you a number. Or if I convert it to projected months of inventory, we're sitting about 5.5 months of inventory, freeholds are about 4.9, and condominiums is about 6.6 months of inventory. I'm just guessing this because we haven't got the final numbers, but it's just a projection. Compared to the June 27th, we're actually down 13%. So June was a little bit busier than July. Leases, 17,000 active leases, 8,000 are freeholds, almost 10,000 are condos. Again, vacancy, 54% of freeholds are vacant, and 46 of condominium leases are vacant. That makes sense too, right?
That's because a lot of the time people want to get the property before the rent.
Yeah, makes sense, right? Leases are actually up 18%. So everybody's saying how the leases are down. Leases are up 18% from this time last year.
I think prices are down, not leases.
But that's probably true. So everybody reducing, clients are reducing their rents?
Yeah, I'm reading rent prices are reducing all over
Yeah.
Canada.
And even
Toronto, too.
compared to June, leases are up 8% from June. So that tells me that there is something going on. The prices likely adjusted, and that's where they're going, right? So we have to do the same for sales.
Yeah, we're also negotiating lower rents. We had our first client contact us, said their tenant requested a lower rent. What should we do? We said, yep, accept it. Go if you like the tenant and they're no fuss. That's the first time they've heard from them all year. So.
Good.
So the headlines were fun, this week. I love blog TOs.
Can we just let's just finish this for
Oh,
a second?
yeah.
One more thing, just stick in the leases.
That's okay.
Let's do this one. Stick in the leases, okay? Let's say you
the
have a
ADHD
property with
range.
a tenant, and the buyer says, "I'm going to move in myself." We want you to put a clause in there to protect your seller.
Yeah.
All right, and the clause can be whatever it wants. I mean, simple is that the seller warrants that vacant possession will be provided to the property on the completion date of this transaction. You go in there, the buyer hereby authorizes, directs the seller agrees to give the N12, and if for some reason that the seller, the buyer does not move in and then the tenant comes back and creates a problem, then the buyer will hold the seller
Exactly.
unliable.
So
Okay,
once you-
so the buyer is liable if they lie. You're okay? Everybody
Yeah.
understand where I'm at?
Wouldn't you be better off putting that clause in Schedule B?
Could be,
and
but-
in every rental property.
Could be, but you don't know
And
whether-
if the tenant says, buyer say I want to move in, have them initial that clause.
Could do, yeah. Or if they're not gonna move in, you gotta cross it out.
Or don't bother. It doesn't matter because they're assuming the tenant.
They're gonna assume the tenant anyways, right?
So that doesn't apply anyway. So we have a Schedule B, every basement apartment, that clause. And the buyer say I want to move in, we have to ask them to initial that clause.
So that's a good point, particularly basement apartments. I was thinking about condos, but basement apartments, same thing, right? How many people are gonna use both up and bottom for themselves? So the
Yeah.
buyers want themselves and put their own people there. But put a clause in there to protect your sellers, right? So if you got a tenant. Sorry.
No, we're not worries. We'll keep on the tenant thing anyway. So that new bylaw that we talked about a couple months ago is officially going to come into effect July 31st. That's the rent eviction bylaw. There's two types of evictions in Ontario, as you know. One is behavior, right? So if they're not paying rent or they're causing a ruckus, or there's no fault, which means that the person's going to move into it themselves or a family member, or they're going to renovate the property. So they were having a lot of stats where people were doing unlawful evictions, kicking them out, renovating it, getting a new tenant in for a higher rent. It was happening a lot. They're trying to curb that with this new bylaw. which means that the new landlord will have to prove that the unit needs to be empty for any potential renovations. So they're going to do that through applying for a rental renovation license at City Hall. It's $700. It's not cheap. Has to be submitted within 7 days of giving formal notice to the tenants, and they must submit a report from a qualified person identifying that the renovation or maintenance work is so extensive that the tenant must leave the unit, as well as what the plan is to compensate the tenant or provide them with alternative accommodations during the renovations. So it's meant to provide, they also have to provide moving allowances and some sort of severance compensation in cases where they choose not to return to the unit after the work is complete.
That is going to get rid of the tenant and get a new tenant.
For $700 and a report from a qualified person, yes, in theory. But I don't know what their qualification process is going to look like. They must have a checklist to say, I think it's going to be major like HVAC systems I could see. You'd have to be out of the place. But if you're renovating your kitchen, or you're not going to have to leave for certain things, right? So that's July 31st. It's going to pass for sure. So just keep that in mind if you have clients that are trying to renovate and evict tenants for renovations. But I have a feeling that not a lot of people are renovating right now anyway.
Got money to renovate.
They can't. I mean, they have to pay $700 just to get the license to do it. There's no motivation now. And they're relying on landlords to provide housing for everybody, and now we can't provide nice housing either. So that's interesting. I wonder where the new bylaw is where you don't pay your rent.
Yeah.
What happens when the tenant doesn't pay your rent? What's the bylaw?
Gotta wait 2 years
For
for
that.
that court.
That's interesting.
So bad.
Okay, we're on the tenant thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
keep the tenant.
Let's get the tenants over with. Okay,
Yeah.
so I haven't got the article here again, but I'm reading that the federal government, or provincial government is trying to make it the landlords
yeah.
responsible for guys selling drugs in their rental units.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you have to know that information now too.
How's that possible?
That didn't pass though, did it?
Hasn't passed.
Passed.
It's an act that they're considering to do. They're going to try, in other words, they don't want slum landlords having,
Drug dealers in
drug dealers in their buildings.
properties.
And they're going to make the landlords responsible.
But we're not even allowed to go to the property, so how are they
And
gonna?
I think City of Toronto's the largest landlord in Toronto, right?
Probably.
Probably.
And where are most of these things happening? Likely in the city-owned places. I don't know.
Probably.
So they're going to get fined themselves. Toronto's also decided, you know how you go to restaurants and you have the green and the
You have a
red
pass
and the-
or not.
You have the pass or not for the restaurants. Now buildings, this is going to be effective July next year. So this is passed. Buildings that are not individual units, but I think it's, I want to say 6 stories or more. Anyways, each of these buildings are now going to have a color code. So each building, when you walk in, is going to have a green or red or yellow sign.
The buildings where the restaurant is.
Building. So when people walk into that building in the lobby, it's going to be a big yellow or big red, and the landlord can't take it down. The landlord has to fix it before they get a green.
I wonder what downstairs.
The building itself, so let's say it's a high-rise building and it's a slum landlord again. Now they're going to say you got to fix it, so now everybody's going to know that it
You're
hasn't not
dirty.
passed.
Oh, I see.
No, is that for each individual unit? Or
No,
is
no,
it
for the building.
is
So what happens if the building's a yellow and the restaurant's
they're
a
looking at
red?
things like
Is that
elevators
outside or inside?
inside the lobby, like just like a restaurant. When you walk in the building, there it is.
safety pass?
And it's not the individual unit, okay? It's the building itself. So it's elevators, it's rug,
Lobby.
it's safety, it's lighting, it's all the cleanliness.
Yeah.
No, but if you red out a building, you said this building is obsolete, it's red. What do you do with that? Are you going to let people live in there, or are they going to say take that back and build something?
I guess they're making it more available to consumers to see what's happening with the building.
Pest control, things like that. So again, who's the largest landlord in the city of Toronto?
Scary. Interesting.
Fees are going up.
You were saying earlier, so rents are decreasing. I think the average rent in Toronto right now is about $21-25 a month. So it's gone down just under 3%. It's not crazy, but it is, becoming softer. But at the same time, mortgage rates are also becoming softer. So we're in this weird transition where, you could rent for a little bit less, but you might also be able to afford a mortgage for the same amount you're renting, depending on where you live and where you're doing that. So this is an article talking about how the middle class people are quietly saving and they're quietly rebuilding, and this is like middle income Canadians. There's about 20% surge in net savings because our incomes are increasing a little bit faster than mortgage rates. So people are quietly saving, and I think they're either going to decide to keep renting, or these are the people that might actually jump into the market now. And I think that's why maybe you're seeing a little bit of a pickup, because I am seeing, even on our own client base, it is that middle income type family that are taking their current equity and upgrading a little bit, and they already own a house. It's not a condo, so it's an easier upgrade. But I think that's true, and they're talking about younger Canadians. Their salaries are increasing, their jobs are okay, they've been working for a long time, and now they're thinking about buying. And overall, they're a little bit more optimistic about being able to get into the market. So that's a bit positive news, I think, as well. And I don't think there's anything wrong with renting either. If the rent, you want to live downtown Toronto, the rent's pretty good right now if you want to be in the city. But if you want to live out of the city, then you might be able to afford a small mortgage as well. So you really got to talk to your clients and do the math for them and kind of see where it nets out. ChatGPT is really good for that. If you throw it in there and say, I could rent here for 5 years, or here's what a mortgage would look like, and it'll actually model it out for you for the next 5 or 20 years. So that would be cool for your clients to see what it could look like for them to get into the market. But you have to be careful, because I'm also seeing a lot of things online where they say, get into the market, now is a good time. And buyers don't like that right now either, because it feels like as agents we're pressuring them to get into the market where they don't want to. They're happy renting. So you have to be careful with the message you're sending and not making it like a fear mongering type thing, but that, you know, maybe depending on your situation, it could be an opportunity, but without pressuring them as well. What I was going to say, the headline, this BlogTO always has the craziest headlines, but Toronto's real estate market is so bad that it's costing the city millions in lost funds. Do you guys hear about that, or do you know what lost funds they're talking about? Land transfer tax. That's logical, right? If sales are down, so is land transfer tax.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. Sorry. What did they expect? 70 million less than last year alone, and they're projecting, even if they do some contingency measures, which I don't know what that would look like, they're forecasted to be about 20 million at best in a loss with land transfer tax. But when they say contingency plans, what does that mean? They're going to increase. They're going to hit us with something else, like property taxes.
They're going to increase the tax,
existing property taxes, right? So they'll figure it out.
It's crazy.
This one kind of sucks. We have a lot of people that were in the situation, but if you bought a condo in 2020, and if it's in Toronto, it most likely underperformed compared to your savings account, just based on the ratios, right? So if you bought a condo, we're hoping to sell it in 5 years, you probably didn't make a huge gain. You probably would have made more money just having it in a really basic savings account. But we always say the goal is not to sell it within that 5 years. If you're still living in that condo, you're going to build it back up. So, but yeah, there hasn't been a lot of increase, and that's especially though in Toronto. So in Toronto, from 2020, it's only about 3.75% more, right? So it hasn't really changed that much. In other major Canadian cities, it's about 16%. So it's really only Toronto that's being hit this hard. That's because of our supply and a lot of other factors. But places like Halifax and Quebec City have gone up almost 90, 60%, depending. So it's really Toronto that's really hurting with these condos right now. Other cities and provinces seem to be kind of okay.
I shouldn't even talk about this anymore because it goes back to the 1990s. And just so you know, those people that were around the 1990s, prices then dropped 35%. So today's market's only dropped 20%. So make you feel better.
Yep, it's true.
And we all survived, right? But they came down with some numbers here just to compare it. They wanted to know from June 2019, prior to pandemic. And I think pandemic really screwed everybody over.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
It did, right? Prices from 2019 to June 2019, June 2025, City of Toronto, the prices have actually increased 32%. If we take it from February 22, which was the peak, to today, prices actually dropped 17.5.
Yeah,
so even
drastic,
though they dropped from the peak, and I know that all our clients are thinking about the February 22 prices, but they should really consider the February 2019 prices.
Yes, that's what I've been telling people. Yeah.
Right. So so that would be the more things. Like Ajax, for instance, since 2019, the prices went up 45%. Since 2022, they went down 25%.
Yeah.
The big losers. Okay, Brock. Where's Brock?
The Ottawa.
Like
No.
Sunderland.
Is that
Oh,
It's like,
Beaverton?
yeah, it's like just past Durham.
Okay. Since the peak, okay, here's some peak numbers, right? Interesting. City of Toronto was minus 6% from February 22. That's 416, right? Durham region down 27%, Halton down 20%, Peel region down 22%. Of the big ones that were down from February, they've got Brock at 44% down, and Duffin, that 27% down, Clarington 30% down. So all the outside areas that the prices went crazy, now they're going reverse.
Yeah.
Always happened to you back in
Yeah.
the
So these are things that shouldn't surprise us. But there it is. That's why we're saying that hopefully prices will drop.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they're saying.
That's why when someone says, how's the market? You're not going to say it's bad, it's 20% down. You're say the market's great, we're closer to 2019 levels, right? It's not bad, it's just we're not at 2022. We're not looking at the past year anymore. It's not a bad thing though.
And then I was reading about the tariffs and whatever the heck's going on with that. It's supposed to be on Friday, there's supposed to be some kind of decision, but I think they're going to extend it again.
I mean, everyone else has made a decision, eh? Like, it's...
Nobody's more intertwined than Canada. Canada's more
True.
Canada and Mexico are like, we're all interconnected, like Europe and all these other, Japan, it's all separate,
That's true.
so they can do their own deals. But here we're more interconnected, it's more complicated. But it's too complicated for some people to understand, I think. But what they're saying here, to be careful, because of the tariffs, it does affect certain cities. So during the pandemic, during 2022, we were buying a lot of properties in these outskirts areas, Niagara Falls, Welland,
Hamilton.
Ottawa, where else? Innisfil, Bear, all these places, right? So now, Windsor, those places I just said are more sensitive to the tariffs. Because it's the automotive, Windsor, automotive. All the border towns, it's all cross-border shops. So if you've got investors thinking about buying in these outskirt areas, now you got to consider what's the tariff? Is that going to affect something going on in that area? Like if tariffs happen, for instance, Windsor, what would happen to Windsor? Windsor prices are already curious,
They're
right?
already same with Hamilton.
Or Hamilton Steel, right? But
Yeah.
good thing about steel, I was reading, though, the Stelco Steel now has decided they're no longer going to ship any steel to the States. They're all shipping strictly Canada. And Kearney wants to do all this development and all this extra things, so hopefully they'll make lots of steel and that's it. So be careful with the geopolitical stuff going on when you're trying to do investment properties.
So that's the end of this week?
August 1st, Friday is supposed to announce.
So we have a rate announcement 30th,
We got a rate announcement.
bylaws the 31st, and tariff announcement the 1st.
What do you think about interest rates for July 30th? Stay the same, go down?
Stay the same.
Both US and
Everybody stay the same?
And do we like that or
Is that
not?
a good thing or a bad thing? It's a good thing? I talked to some people and they want the prices to drop, or interest rates to drop.
Yeah, like I want prices to drop, but if that's not going to happen, then interest rate would be nice. something would be nice.
A little bit of relief.
Yeah, true. We talked about this a bit before, how a lot of our first-time buyers are stuck because our seniors are kind of hanging out in their houses and they're not selling them until they literally have to, right? So this weird mix where our first-time buyers don't want to be in a condo. They want to be in sort of a starter home, but we've got older people who are living them for a long time. So this was an interesting article about trying to do something for our seniors, which I think is a good idea because we do a lot for our first-time home buyers. There's a whole ton of incentives in terms of mortgages and land transfer tax rebates and RSPs, but there's not a whole lot of incentives for our seniors to move on and do something with their current house. So this article is talking about, it's a traumatic thing, first of all, for seniors to move, which is emotional. It's a lot of work physically. Typically, they have a lot of collected items, so now they've got to purge all their belongings, and it's just a big emotional, stressful process. But it's also because of money. There isn't a lot of options for them to go into something smaller where it makes sense. They'd rather stay in a home where they're mortgage-free, they're comfortable, they're not going to mess up their life. But what if we did something like a GST rebate for seniors or a land transfer tax rebate for seniors to convince them to downsize, to go into a smaller bungalow or even a condo where they still own their property, but some sort of incentive to help, lessen the blow a little bit of what they're about to go through. So kind of interesting because we haven't talked about that. They always do incentives for first-time buyers, but they're the ones that don't have the money right now. These guys have nice houses that we could do a nice trade, get them into condos or smaller houses. But I don't know. What do you guys think about some sort of GST rebate, something for seniors?
I think they're too smart for that.
Just to sweeten the deal.
Because even the senior homes that they go into are very expensive.
Very expensive.
Very expensive to get like care, food, meals, all that. So it almost makes sense for them to stay in their homes and just pay for a nurse to come to them
Exactly.
now.
So if we did something for them, the goal is to try to get them out of their house, get buyers into their starter homes, and have a sort of a domino effect of people being able to move in and move out. But until then, here we are. When was I talking about digital lockboxes? Was it in like June or May? I said
gosh.
make sure you record this for the future. I was trying to predict things. Changes coming this fall, says Treb. Unauthorized lockbox use triggers action and reform by real estate authorities. So they're coming. This is in REM, and I don't know the person who wrote this, but there's quotes from Rico and from Treb. I don't even believe this stat. I think it's more. They're saying, Rico's saying they received 20 to 40 complaints annually over the last 5 years about agents providing unauthorized access to lockboxes. And almost 100% of the time they get fined. Almost 100% of the time they have full video evidence of them giving the code to somebody and walking in, they get fined between $5,500 as high as $9,500 for repeat or contested violations. So it's becoming a growing problem. I don't know why. It's not just wrong, it's dangerous, right? We all know we're not doing that. We're not giving lockbox codes to third-party properties unless the seller agrees. But Treb is saying they are introducing electronic lockboxes. There's no word of mandatory in here yet, but they are introducing electronic lockboxes for Toronto. And we already know what's happening in rural areas as well. I think it's going to be a lot more complicated, but I think with the way that people are behaving nowadays, I kind of am supporting it now because what are they?
They're still going to get the lockbox code though.
But this will be same day code. You're going to have an app on it. It'd be pretty hard to give that away.
I've seen where they have like, it's a Bluetooth and then they have emergency in case it doesn't work. So that's the second option too.
Yeah.
So like give to your client.
Yeah.
Yeah, century locks.
Yeah, so they're already using it in rural areas. It's not uncommon. It's just our Toronto urban areas. I don't know how that will work in a condo type situation, but
It's more expensive.
at first I was really against it, but I don't know. People are being naughty out there and they're ruining it for everybody. And maybe the lockbox is too simple. Maybe it's not good enough to have a lockbox on a door with a key to your house in it. I don't know. But it's coming this fall, so I'm not surprised.
I know these locks are timed, right? So if you got an appointment between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock,
Oh, yeah.
you can't get there at 3:45.
Now there's going to be even more fines. Someone shows up late.
Same time, you should be on time. I don't know.
So now we're going to have all these complaints that the agents
Oh, yeah.
never showed up for their
Oh
appointments.
yeah, for sure.
Or they showed up late and they had to give a new code.
Oh yeah, it's like real time tracking. It's gonna know when you're there, know when you leave. Broker Bay is gonna have to incorporate it somehow too. But I told you it's coming, and it's coming. So
I had a
there it is.
conversation with an agent on last week. Just curious. This agent, on his houses that he has any showings, he wants all the lights turned on. So he's got a neighbor that goes in there and turns on the lights before they show the house. And what he's complaining about, he says, doesn't understand. He says he leaves all the lights on, so when they walk in, they have this first impression. But agents go in there and he says when they leave, they turn the lights out. And I've told him he's got notes saying please do not turn lights out.
Yeah.
So do you guys, if you walk into a house and lights are on, you turn the lights out when you walk out?
it's kind of habit.
It depends on the instructions, right?
I follow the instructions.
Some instructions say do not turn lights on. Some say leave them on.
I typically will also try to leave it the way I got it too. Like if I don't know, it depends on
Yeah,
the
I've done
instructions.
that.
Because sometimes you're thinking, well, if I leave the lights on, then
I feel guilty.
the guy before me left the lights on, he screwed up. I don't want,
Exactly.
I don't want to be blamed for
See.
leaving the lights on, so I
Yeah.
can turn the lights off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the agent was livid, saying, I left a note saying, please, and he used the words, please leave things as all
As
set.
it's, yeah, that's a better way to say it.
No,
Actually.
please leave everything as set. And I'm thinking, no, you got to be more specific. Do not turn the lights off.
Yeah. I also know that agent will just physically go tape them, and I think that's the better thing to do. Just like physically go tape them and put a note on every single one that says "Do not touch me."
But then we've also gotten in trouble for not turning the lights off, so it's very confusing.
So confusing.
At least lock the doors at the bare minimum. That's a big
I
problem
will
too. Is
say,
people
though,
leave back doors unlocked.
That person was educational. If you're struggling to sell a listing, it does make a big difference walking in and not having to touch anything before.
Yes.
So either go before your
Saves
client
time.
and do that, but it is kind of nice to walk into a place and it's all lit, the drapes are open. It's an energy emotional thing. So think about that for your listings. I've been thinking about it for a condo that I have. If you've got a neighbor, go in yourself and turn them all on if you can. But
This particular agent I'm talking about here, he's a funny guy. Not a funny guy, funny girl. They keep in their trunk 100-watt light bulbs. and they go in there and they change all the light bulbs to 100-watt light bulbs. They want the thing to be boom.
Like bright, like
They want it
it's like
bright,
an emotional
they want it
connection.
bright. So they go in there and they change all the light bulbs.
It's been changing my mindset,
to
honestly.
100 watts.
No, I've been thinking about
And
it.
then they want to leave the lights on too, because they want to walk in and they want to see bang.
I think it makes sense in a market like this.
Especially in the basement. Imagine the basement.
Oh, yeah.
You've been to like the furnace room in the house.
And you're like, ugh, like.
Look at that, he's got a 100-watt bulb.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's the things you need to think about now when you have listings. You have to take it really seriously and go back to that level of detail, right?
Salesmanship too, as an agent.
Yeah.
If the lights aren't on, are you just gonna be like, oh, let me just show them this dark?
No.
The way you turn on things for yourself, and
That's right.
open a cupboard to show how deep things are.
But I've had complaints from sellers saying the agent left all the lights on.
I don't, we can't really win.
we can't win, right?
No, it's true. Just a cool tool I read about. I don't think it's anything unique compared to what AI can do for you, but a company called Oversights has launched a digital status certificate review. So I guess you can upload your status certificate and it will categorize it into 6 categories: general property, building information, building rules, restrictions, common expenses, monthly fees, special assessments, and the financial health, insurance. I guess it summarizes the review of the status certificate. They're going to later enhance this whole system with other products to fully digitize the legal process. It won't replace, I don't think, your legal review, but I guess if you did have a client that they weren't making an offer and they wanted a general summary about it, but I'm pretty sure you could load that into AI too and get a bit of a summary, couldn't you? But be careful. I think it's a good way to summarize it. I don't think there's anything wrong with you reading the status and sort of summarizing it yourself either, but if you had a really long, complicated something, it's called Oversights. Lots of new real estate tech.
I can see lawyers using that.
Oh, yeah. I think they're marketing it a little bit to real estate professionals, but mostly to lawyers. Because I think their end goal is to help the lawyers digitize their process. And I actually think there's a lot of work to be done. And that I could give them some feedback on invoicing and the way that that lawyer system works. But that could be interesting for them too.
So I did that on the weekend. I had a builder's offer. I uploaded a builder's offer to ChatGPT, and I said, "Can you read it to me? Like, give me
Summarize
the highlights."
it, yeah.
And that's what it did, right? So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
It's good for bylaws and stuff.
Your RICO insurance is due August 22nd. And I'll give you a bit of background information, because did you guys all get an email last week from Trev that was like 2 pages long and looked kind of scary? And did you know what it meant? So I don't know what month this started triggering for us, but somewhere back earlier this year, February, Trev and RICO got together to share information about when your RICO license expired. And you can't be on Trev if you don't have a RICO license. So we had a whole system that we would know when your RICO was expiring. We would give you notice and give you an opportunity to extend it. They stopped doing that, so we couldn't remind you anymore. Somehow Trev got this data, and then no one really knew this, but we got it in trouble for people that we didn't know that weren't on Trev, that weren't on RICO. And they started issuing these really crazy fines and courses, and they really hit the hammer really hard. And then we all complained. I had to go to this course, and we started pushing back a little bit. And now you guys are getting these emails last week that's kind of explaining what they were doing in February, which is what they should have done all along, which is really just a simple reminder to maintain your Trev license and your RICO license. But that's really truly what that email was saying. And if you don't, here's the consequences. So I think they did everything kind of backwards. Yep. And now you're getting your RICO emails. So you got your Trev notified you first. Now you're getting it from RICO. It's due August 22nd, and it's opening up July 21st. So if you got that email, I think every single agent got that email. It wasn't anything to act on. It's just your reminder that you have to keep both active. Right? It's a very scary way to say something very simple. I'm okay.
Kennedy Road in Shepherd. Got Walmart there. Mm-hmm. So you know that thing's ready for development, right? So they're proposing right now 2 rental buildings. It's going to be 1,300 rental units. That's one proposal.
That's insane. By Walmart.
Kennedy and Shepherd.
Kennedy and Shepherd.
Yeah.
Agincourt Mall. Yeah. So they're talking about 2 rental. I'm not sure if they're going to put condos in there as well, but they're talking about 2 rental units. That they could probably put 4 or 5 buildings in there, right? That thing's bigger than
it's big.
Village Green property.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Where are they gonna all shop for their?
They'll keep stuff there, no?
Keeping Walmart.
They want to remove.
Yeah, they've been keeping Walmart in business over there.
They want to remove the mall.
The mall, yeah.
Well, they're going to.
No, I think
They probably build up or around.
Yeah.
They're removing the mall and they're gonna add a street that kind of rips through that bonus.
Yeah. They would have to clean that area up to put some new buildings in
But
there.
do people, who wants to live there? Like, what's the vacancy levels of Village Green? Like, do people want to live there?
Out the Scarborough.
Nick wants to live there.
How's the traffic getting out of Village Green onto Kennedy Road in the
It's
morning?
really good actually. No, seriously, it's cool lanes. It's really good.
Bridle path of Scarborough.
Bridle path.
Kennedy Commons.
Do both
Who's developing? They need a salesperson.
both lanes turn left, or you say 2 lanes? Do both turn
Well, you
left?
can't go straight when you're on Bonus. You can't. Oh no, I'm thinking of the other. I'm thinking of Cardwell actually. Yeah. You know.
They really thought it out very well.
They did. Okay.
I'm pretty proud of them.
I don't know.
I thought it was
care about this.
No.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for them. But give it to me, because maybe back to school.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like.
Done?
Sandeep has got something.
I had a listing at 195 bonus and listed 498. So first day agent called me, she said I'm sending the offer with asking price. Second day she sent me the what you just mentioned, that they are coming up with they are trying to demolish the Walmart. She reduced the price by 25,000.
Oh.
We had to accept it.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because even my seller knew that okay, something is coming up, 17th floor.
You can't deny it. Eh? It's just right there. Like, yeah, that's fair.
Crazy.
So that's probably the price. That's good to know if we're selling in that area. Then I know we get listings there.
No,
So.
lucky unit. I mean, 10 showing, 2
Yeah.
offers.
Yeah, but there are older buildings too down there too, right? So high maintenance fees. Oh, that's the newer one, 195.
195 is not.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the other ones, 138. Okay.
So last week I actually got a lot of emails after on the 7-week farming plan. Someone that made $42,000 using letter and postcard templates to send to the same area just for 7 weeks. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I did get a lot of questions on it. I found another article this week, another letter that works, that landed this agent a $2 million listing with just one letter. I'm sure we've seen letters in the mail tons of times from like for sale by owners that you guys have seen that look very like handwritten. This was another letter actually by that same company called Listing Leads, which just sells a bunch of templates. I think I need to get onto this. I think USAN was playing around with it a little bit. But there's this website called Listing Leads. I don't know if it's just American, but they sell a whole bunch of templates, including letters that you can mail out to neighborhoods. But this agent sent out a letter and landed a $2 million listing, and they call it the Magic Buyer Letter. So this is coming from the agent side, not necessarily a private buyer. And the way that they start the letter that said that is the big key point of it all when you are sending these types of letters. But they basically are targeting an area that their buyers are actually interested in and then trying to find a house for their buyer. But it's also a way to get a listing as well, because not all the houses are obviously going to pertain to the clients that they want. But they start the letter saying, if you're in your forever home, ignore this letter. And that's how it starts. So immediately, if you're not looking to sell your home, just please ignore, otherwise continue reading. And then they also wrote, my name is Katie Fulton, and this isn't a made-up scenario. So they also start off saying, like, I'm not making this scenario up. And then they go on to talk about how they have these great clients with a budget of $1.6 million. They've got 2 kids that want more outdoor space, and they're looking to move into the area. This agent mailed it out to 200 homes. They had their assistant handwrite every single envelope directly to them with an actual return address so that it didn't look scammy either. And they had a high open rate. The reason why this letter outperformed a lot of the traditional agent mailers that are sent out is because it said it wasn't I might have a buyer bait, it was an actual real story. So this doesn't work if you have a fake buyer. This would work if you do truly have a client that wants to work into the area. And then this house didn't turn out to work out for her clients. The budget was way too high and it wasn't a nice home. But she ended up actually getting invited to go do a listing presentation. So they talked about different off-market and going to the market strategies, and they agreed that the maximum exposure was the smartest move. So she wasn't able to get that client that house, but it turned into her listing a $2 million property. So if you guys are thinking about different creative ways to not only get your clients a property, but maybe even getting an off-market listing, then this might be an idea too. So
This is truly where we really are back in 2018.
We are back in like
This is
a
what
very long time, and this
we were
stuff
doing
works,
this in
right?
2018.
This is 1980 we're doing.
Exactly. Like this isn't anything new, but it's a reminder that if you guys are just sitting on your thumbs for the next 2 weeks,
Yeah.
why not just pick an area and send out a quick mail, just to keep yourselves
I
busy.
received a flyer at my house.
Yep.
It's handwritten.
Handwritten. Yep.
Without a pen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fancy.
Like instead of a regular bottle
Pen, yeah.
writing pen.
Yep.
Not too many letters,
Yep.
but it made me to read.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's the point, right?
Like I read the flyer, I'm not
Yeah.
interested in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're reading marketing point of view or whatever reason.
Yeah.
It made me to read it.
Yeah, handwriting.
Exactly, and this agent was even saying this wasn't her first time getting it. In fact, she had people like save the letters for later, and then she had the come list me calls from homeowners that kept the letter. She had homeowners that actually let them show the home to her buyers and then maybe listed with them later when she got to build rapport with them. But it also turned into referrals from people that received the letter who admired that above and beyond effort, and then she got either a buyer or seller from that. So this letter, I think, is pretty powerful. So again, if we're thinking about different marketing efforts for the fall market, that might be one that you guys want to pop into your pack.
No, I'm just asking you. You said you enrolled somewhere on listing leads in Lease. What happened with that?
Me?
Yeah, you said something like that.
I was talking about the company here is called Listing Leads, and it's a website.
Lease or something, the broker is doing it, and you say you're talking to them, and you put.
I don't think that was me.
Yeah,
Last meeting or no?
A couple of weeks ago.
I talked about Listing Leads last week on a 7.
And she did.
Well, you did it, Carly.
And what did I say?
What about it? What's the question?
I don't remember.
Remax, they started listing leads, and you're gonna bid on it.
Oh, the bidding.
Hive.
That's a different. That's
Hive.
completely different.
Oh, sorry.
What, but you know what I mean.
Hive. No, I just signed up, but then nothing's happened yet.
Hive.
Yeah, I don't see any listings or anything there yet. Hive, yeah.
It's still so fresh.
What he was saying was that one of a previous Remax owner founded this company.
Yeah. Chris Alexander.
But it's available to everybody to go on right now and sign up. It's called
Hive.
Yeah.
This one's called Listing Leads, but it's a template website if you guys want postcards, letters, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what they're doing, Hive, they're saying that a seller says, hey, I want to sell my house. The agents say, okay, I'll give you $10,000, or I'll give you $5,000, give you $6,000 to list with me.
With the strategy.
And this company takes a percentage of that, and then you go get the listing. Hopefully, you get the listing.
So they get 30%.
They get 30% of whatever fee that
bid
you're going
was.
to charge, whatever
Basically.
fee you're going to pay the seller for the option of listing their property.
It's basically a cashback before the
It's
commission.
Cashback.
No,
It's not. It's
money
up front,
It's money
but
up front. It's money up front.
What agent is giving the seller?
The agents give the seller money up front
For what?
But it's held in trust.
to list their property.
Yeah, but it's held in trust. It's not. They don't receive it in their bank.
if the seller cancels it, I think you get your money back.
If it doesn't sell, then you get your money back.
Or if they don't go with the contract.
Then you probably have to sue half the seller.
Yeah.
No, the money's this company holds the money in trust.
Yes.
And on final closing, it gives the money to the seller or gives the money to the agent if they never sold. And they take a percentage.
So you have the
And you haven't got the listing yet. You still have to go in there and negotiate the listing. You're just paying money just for the opportunity to get in there.
Yeah.
So do you know Zillow charge, they don't charge fee anymore. Used to be child problem for this neighborhood per month as well. They charge straight 40% of flow.
Zillow Canada, U.S. Yeah.
Zillow.
U.S. and those.
Zillow. Is it Zolo or Zillow?
Sorry?
Zillow or Zolo?
Zero.
Zillow.
Zillow.
Jesus Christ.
Zillow, U.S. America. They want 40% referral.
Yes.
Nice.
It used to be, this postal code is $10,000 a month, this
Yeah.
postcode is $2,000 a month, flat fee.
Oh.
Now they want $10,000, 40% referral fee.
Yeah.
If you want to.
They got a lot of stuff happening in the U.S. right now. Private exclusive listings and lots of stuff.
Use the MLS.
So you got to give Zillow 40%, and then you got to give the stager something, and then the poor seller, he's got to pay 10% commission so he can pay everybody.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay, I'll do my last article. We were talking a lot about Gen Zs a couple weeks ago and how they're different and how we can, just like the prediction of how they're going to start buying homes, but they did how today's home buyers think, spend, and decide, and it came from the Next Gen Home Buyer Report. Apparently this is the 5th year that they've done it. It is from the US, but this is the 5th year that they've run it, where they just kind of figure out how the home buyers are thinking these days. They came up with this results that young buyers are still wanting to own homes, but they're not going to go about it the same way their parents did. So they're giving some 10 insights from this home buyer report that you as agents can take away from when you guys are working with the Gen Zs and maybe even the younger millennial clients. Number one, AI and social media are now essential sources for real estate info, which I think we're starting to realize, but a lot of the buyers are now looking on TikTok, YouTube, and ChatGPT to find their information on how to find properties, or like just more information on how to buy a home. So if you guys are on social media or you guys are doing online stuff, if your content isn't findable in those places that they already spend time on, then you're not going to be part of their process. So may start to think about getting onto YouTube, TikTok, and using ChatGPT a little bit more. They still believe in the dream, just not the timing. Mm-hmm. So nearly 60% of the next gen buyers say that home ownership is attainable, but 59% of them believe that now is still not the good time to buy. So the one size fits all advice is not the vibe right now for the Gen Zs. So we gotta be careful with them. YouTube is the #1 education platform for home buyers. So they are watching real estate explainers on YouTube before they even reach out to an agent. So we've been talking about videos for a long time, but they're saying video is no longer optional. It's the foundation of financial literacy for this group of this group of home buyers. So I'm not talking to the boomers or the Gen X's. I'm talking about the Gen Zs right now. Trust in banks and loan officers is falling fast. So they're saying agents who lead with curiosity, transparency, and education have a real chance to rebuild that trust with these types of clients. They don't believe in the banks right now, or they don't trust them. Buyers are getting creative to afford homes, which we've talked about, but most of the buyers right now are leaning into non-traditional paths. So when you guys are speaking with new buyers that are thinking about purchasing a home, the top strategies include buying a fixer-upper home, co-buying with friends or family, renting out a part of the home, which we're starting to see even with the millennial clients. Now they're selling their first-time homes, and their parents are selling their forever homes, and now they're moving in together, and the parents are moving in the basement to help raise the kids of the millennials. And this is happening quite actually in my own group of friends right now, which is a very interesting thing to see. We've done it, I think, twice already this year. So if you've got some young families that just can't afford the bills, and then you got some seniors that also don't want to move into a home yet, you may want to have a family meeting with these types of clients to see if they've thought about cohabitating together. Moving to a lower cost area as well. Gen Z leads the shift towards alternative buying models, so they're more open to collaborative and income generating activities, and these clients are going to be looking for agents who can help them do more with less. So they need those people that are going to invest in these more outside ideas that they have. Financial stress is improving, which we've talked about, but is still widespread. So if you're not asking about their budget stressors up front, you may be missing the full picture. So we need to ask them what's stressing them out about buying, and it may be, I can't afford the mortgage, and that's where you start to come up with the creative solutions to get roommates, put their parents in the basement, get their parents money. So if they're stressed about certain things, you may have a solution for them that's a little bit more creative than maybe what our parents have been expected to do when they were buying. Schools are not teaching this stuff, which we've known our entire lives. Mm-hmm. So that lack of financial literacy often translates into lack of savings and tendency to accumulate debt. So they're recommending that real estate professionals take this opportunity to step in as educators and trusted resources, and even sharing what helped you guys get a handle on your own finances and how you can educate them a little bit better, because they're just not teaching that in the schools ever. Agents are still the first call, but not for everybody. So it's not just about access to the homes anymore. They don't need us to get access to the home, but they do need access to clarity on what's going on in the market. So bringing clarity to every conversation is going to help. So those key takeaways are: show up where they search, YouTube, social media, and AI. Speak their language, so simplify the process. And don't assume that they know. Start creating content that explains the basics without talking down to them. So that's how our younger generation is going to be buying.
Yep.
Would you agree, Mo? I'm going to look at Mo. Do you see that amongst your peers when they talk about buying homes? Because not a lot of them are, but do you know that they're going online lately or going to TikTok or? I guess you got to get in front of your kids, eh?
No, a lot of my clients are not really my friends.
No, you're with the parents right now. Yeah, which is good though. When you guys are talking to younger, like people that are hitting their 30s, it's not a bad idea to get the parents involved on how they can help or how they can mix it all together. They're still young, but we're seeing that happen a lot.
I've seen a recent article maybe 6 months ago. 22% of grandparents help their grandchildren.
Yeah, grandparents, okay.
And 23% of parents help their children with the
Down payment.
Yeah, and we are seeing that.
45% of money coming from
Family.
parents or grandparents.
Yeah, and a lot of like younger people are probably even too scared to ask their parents for that money, but maybe it's a topic agents can have with the parents or the grandparents and say, have you thought about giving your children money to get them into the market? So they might not know that these are options, or they might be embarrassed to talk about it when they don't realize it happens all the time.
Yeah, because I was reading like their incomes have increased so they can afford the monthly mortgage, but they don't have the savings capital to do the down payment. If they had that, they can afford, they'll get qualified, they can afford the mortgage, but it's just that initial chunk of money. Exactly. So that's where the education comes from now.
We're just educating the younger people. Like Claire did a really good job at doing this when we were buying houses, like when we were looking to buy cars first, that would have been the first purchase we made as a grown-up. But what a lot of parents don't teach us is when you buy a car, it's going to affect you when you want to go buy a house. So parents can maybe think about giving a loan on the car to avoid putting them into debt with a car company so that when they go to buy a house, they don't have this extra debt. So there's certain things, I know you did a good job at trying to make sure we were able to buy a house properly, or paying your credit cards off and have a credit score, stuff like that, which a lot of schools do not teach that stuff. And paying your credit card. Actually, you didn't even want to.
Okay, go ahead, go back to parenting, just so you know, your 16, 17-year-old kids should have a credit card.
And you pay it maybe.
And a cell phone bill.
Like very minimal, like if they're going to university, paying the textbooks.
$2,000 limit, whatever, but you start getting a credit rating. So they go to apply for the first mortgage, they have a credit rating already.
Yeah. Like teaching them like those small things.
Even the cell phone bill.
Yeah.
You get a bill, you pay it. That alone builds credit.
But that's what I did with my car. Remember, you gave me a contract. He made it seem like a financial thing. It wasn't. It was whatever I didn't have to buy the car. And then we had a contract between Dad and I paid you back every month as if you were my car company. But then when I went to go buy a house a couple years after, it didn't come into play because it wasn't registered somewhere, right? So it probably helped me buy. But these are the types of things that the school doesn't even teach, like adults, to teach the kids.
That's right.
They did teach it. They did teach it in grade 7 or 8. I was looking at one of the girls' homework math, and it did teach about mortgage amortization
really?
and so on and so forth. But it was one class, and they probably never remembered it.
No.
Never how it affects.
Not how it affects them
No,
later.
there's a formula. We just memorized the formula, how to calculate it.
Yeah.
I never told you that that's why they're paying
Yeah.
it, right?
Or even just keeping your kids out of student debt. If you've got the money to give your kids the money and then get them to pay you back, then maybe that's an alternative to putting them in debt with, I don't know, the government. Anyways, we're going to talk about this week's events. On Wednesday, we've got the Jonathan Griffiths Lunch and Learn at the Mandarin in Pickering. We are full. I have all seats accounted for, so if you didn't register with me, maybe send me a message this week. It might be too late. We had 80 seats, and I believe 85 got claimed, so I'm expecting a few people to not come. But that's going to be a Lunch and Learn in Pickering. August 6th, I believe that's next week, we're going to have a farming company come in and talk to you guys about how to farm properly. I'm not doing door knocking, so it's probably going to be postcards and stuff like that. So if you've been thinking about farming an area and want to learn a little bit more, that's going to be August 6th at 11. August 13th, we've got golf day. I think we sent out some invites for that. So if you want to come with your kids and your spouses, just let Ginny know how many people. That's at Timber Creek Mini Putt in Stouffville, and then we'll do the Mandarin after that in Markham. Age of the Children as well. I think that's it. Did anyone go to Rob Vivian last week? I think Celine went to it and learned a lot, but I think that was all that we had there. But that's all we've got for July, August. We're already heading into August, which is scary.
I know.
Summer's over.
It's not over.
It's not over till the exhibition starts.
Any questions online or anything? Any listings anyone wants to talk about?
ChatGPT just started agent today.
ChatGPT just started
Something called Agent.
called Agent.
So basically, you have your assistant now.
Cool.
Do research, do booking of flights.
Cool. Okay, thanks everybody.